Hello, EKN Nation. A new edition of our EKN OutLap preview podcast. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. Episode 75. It is July the 23rd, 2024. Looking forward to this coming weekend's Superkarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals, the finale of the weekend. Been a while since I've done one of the OutLap preview podcasts, so I'll bring David in here momentarily. Again, this edition, episode 75, presented by DID Chain. Since 1933, DID has been designing and manufacturing high-quality chains that are chosen and utilized by the world's best power sports athletes and is the winningest chain brand in the industry. From the hairpin turns of MotoGP to your local circle track and everywhere in between, DID has a chain offering for all levels of power sports that are designed to outlast and outperform the competition. DID also offers various levels of 4-pitch and 5-pitch chains to fit your drive chain needs. With over 90 years of experience, stay driven with DID. All right, David Cole, come on into the booth here. It's time to get things rolling. I've missed the first 2 Pro Tour races because of conflicts, which kind of sucked, although it happened because organizations were working together to try to get the schedules to go. So I was the guy that came on the outside looking in, but finally getting back to the Summer Nationals this coming weekend.
Yeah, it was strange to not have you at the Orlando event, or even when we were in Ohio. You haven't been to Ohio yet. That's another track you've got to get off the list for you. But it's been an interesting 2024 for Superkarts USA Pro Tour. The first year ever they're focused on the Eastern Coast, the Eastern time zone for the Pro Tour. So we haven't gone out west. It's all been East Coast focused for the season, but it's still been exciting racing no matter where Superkarts USA goes. It's exciting racing, and we're gonna have some exciting championships to decide this year.
Again, the finale, as I had said before, last round of this year's Superkarts USA Pro Tour, the 15th edition of the series, started back in 2010. July 26th, 27th, 28th, this coming weekend will be the dates, official dates. Newcastle Motorsports Park has been kind of the spiritual home of the Summer Nationals for many years. That event, the track rather just outside of Indianapolis to the east. Rounds number 5 and 6 of a 6-round championship for the semi-pros. David, that's the obviously the new component here as we cap off the season for 2024, right? With the pro show, just a single main event. So round 3 of the 3 for the pro categories.
Correct. Yeah, that's the other new side of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour in 2024 with the designation of the semi-pro categories following that 6-round championship format that we've been used to since 2017. And then the pro show with X30 Pro and Pro Shifter doing a different format each weekend and only having one main event per round. So they will be hosting their 3rd round. And again, that's everything counts, where the other programs, they have the best 5 of 6 round championship format. So different championship scenarios for all the different categories. But again, a lot to happen still when we get to Newcastle.
Yeah, always when we get things rolling here with kind of the preview for the event, we look at the weather. What's it going to look like this coming weekend? Thursday and Friday looks really good. We're talking low 80s. Same for Saturday with a bit of cloud, but that looming weather coming in potentially on Sunday and Monday. David, we'll see whether or not it does arrive on Sunday. Championship Sunday in the rain for the titles. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would certainly throw a wrench in everybody's plans and program. So yeah, you don't know in Newcastle. July, it's going to be humid. I think that's one thing we're used to.
For sure.
But the rain could happen overnight. That could be with the way the weather comes in. It could happen Saturday night and maybe be done by Sunday morning, or it could be like a morning rain situation. So not quite sure yet how that will pan out. But again, if we got the first 2 days in good weather, hopefully we'll get the 3rd in without any issues.
Yeah, let's talk about the event itself. Newcastle Motorsports Park is like most of you getting ready to start its 3rd decade, essentially. Opened back in 2003 and quickly became one of the premier racing circuits in the country. Every year holds some of the biggest races of the year. You look at the SCUSA SummerNats, so you look at events like the Rotax Trophy final has been there before. Of course, USBKS has been a big part of Newcastle. I talk about the CKNA Grand Nationals. The Dismore family-owned racetrack is one of the best ever. David, it's an interesting weekend. Let's talk about the fact we're going backwards in the clockwise direction, and for the first time, we're going to use the Monza. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a layout that Superkarts USA hasn't used. Stars Championship Series, they've used this layout before. I think it's to help, slow down the drivers coming in back into the scoreboard corner. I think that certainly helps. But again, throwing a different wrench at the competitors. So maybe for a lot of competitors, this is going to be something brand new.
Yeah.
Something they haven't done. So, we know the Monza the other way when we go there for the Cup Karts race. So, it'll be interesting to see, for first time, at least with our eyes, the Monza section in this direction. Certainly going to provide some interesting passing opportunities, both going into the Monza, coming out of the Monza, and then getting back down towards scoreboard where we always see passing happening there. So that'll be, it'll add a little bit of time to everybody's laps, but, their lap times. But I think it's going to definitely provide more excitement on the weekend.
A 10th straight time that we've been at Newcastle Motorsports Park to hold the SummerNationals. For those of you who don't know, the finale in the early days was always the Super Nats. The first couple of years of the Pro Tour, it was the Spring Nationals and the Summer Nationals and the Super Nationals. At that point, adding in the Winter Nats at one point, getting rid of the Super Nats as part of the Pro Tour, and the Summer Nats became the finale. So 10th straight time we've done that. David, I mentioned earlier, obviously, the evolution of the program for 2024 with the addition of the Pro Show. That's one of the biggest things that has really altered the schedule as well. Let's talk about the fact that drivers on the racetrack Wednesday and Thursday for unofficial practice run by the track itself. But how do things lay out for official racing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? Yeah,
first, it's 10th straight time that they've hosted the SummerNationals. The Pro Tour wrapped up there in 2015, 2016, and 2017 is when they introduced the Winter Nationals and took away the Pro Tour going to the Super Nationals. So that was 2017 when that happened. So again, this is our 10th straight visit to Newcastle for SummerNationals.
2017 doesn't seem that long ago, but it's like 7 years ago.
It was
right.
I mean, there were some kids that are, now racing cars that were in just their beginning in their junior ranks, and some in cadets. So, it doesn't seem like a long time, but a lot has happened since
Agreed.
that time.
My goodness.
Event schedule wise, again, Wednesday and Thursday are unofficial sessions run by the racetrack themselves. And then Friday we get into official sessions, 5 rounds, 4 7-minute sessions with a 12-minute session at the end of the day for all the categories. And then we'll get into round 5 for the semi-pro divisions. That includes warm-up, qualifying, 8-lap pre-final, and then 16-lap finals, except for cadet that run 14. And then and then the Saturday Pro Show program, they do a warm-up, they'll do a qualifying, they'll do 2 heat races on the day. Each heat race will be 10 laps. And that replaces the pre-final that we did run at Orlando. We did this heat version in Ohio, and it seemed to work out well. Obviously, some scenarios where people lost valuable points in one of the heat races. But again, I think in terms of, getting that overall track time, that's what the competitors were asking for, and that's what they got. And then we'll head into Sunday, which will be round 6 for the semi-pro divisions, a warm-up, qualifying, pre-final, and finals once again. And that'll be the deciding factors for those categories in the championship. And then we get the Pro Show warm-up after lunch, and then the main events are at the end of the day on Sunday, laps each for Pro, Shifter, and X30 Pro.
Maybe in the rain.
You never know.
All right, there, folks. There's our start of this edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview for this coming weekend's Superkarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals. When we get back after this break, we'll dive into the numbers. We'll let you know what we're looking at for the entry heading into the weekend. Made in the USA. That's exactly what you get from Precision Karting Technologies. Based in Detroit, Michigan, PKT brings over 35 years of manufacturing experience to the sport of karting. Their passion for the sport began focusing around the kid kart platform and has expanded every year with hundreds of products designed to put you on the podium. Precision Karting Technologies is known around North America for their successful line of axles available in all age groups. PKT manufactures a number of engine products for Comer, IAME, Rock, Rotax, and the popular Briggs & Stratton 206. A wide variety of chassis components for the many brands in the sport are available through PKT, including hubs, pedal risers, skid plates, and other hardware for your kart. Axle straightening, chassis adjustments, engine service, and specific CNC machining projects are available through their Motor City headquarters. To learn more about the many products and services available from Precision Karting Technologies, head to pktaxles.com. Wins at the sport's biggest races, as well as championships across all levels of karting, pack the resume for NitroKart. The NitroKart brand has made its statement as the best, fastest, and most reliable cadet chassis on the North American karting market. If you want to win in cadet, both in 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition, get a NitroKart and join the team. Team NitroKart will be at all major events, trackside with Ryan Perry Motorsport, the official race team. Owner Ryan Perry and his RPM operation carries the full selection of NitroKart chassis and parts, while also providing the same driver development focus as NitroKart owner Nick Tucker. You can also join the Team NitroKart race team at all major 4-cycle races this season. Led by longtime NitroKart tuner Cody Johnson, Team NitroKart will be at all the major Cup Karts North America events with arrive and drive opportunities available for all ages. Nitro Motorsports is a true karts-to-karts driver development program that is already gaining success after launching in 2022. Victories and championships in the Trans Am Series has highlighted the team's start, along with the success in the new GR Cup by Toyota. Current and former karters can take advantage of this unique ladder system with NitroKart and Nitro Motorsports. Visit NitroKart online and find them on social media. NitroKart, race one or chase one. It all started in my parents' garage. That's the foundation for MPG Motorsports, which grew from a small home garage in Indiana into one of the top race teams and kart shops in the industry. A true passion for motorsports runs deep in the DNA of MPG, which has developed strong connections within karting. Now based at the Whiteland Raceway Park in central Indiana, MPG Motorsports offers a wide range of opportunities through its race team while providing a full-service kart shop as an official dealer for the Kart Republic brand. The MPG Motorsports race team is led by ownership partner and karting champion Chase Jones and provides full trackside service and driver development. Be part of the MPG program at the USPKS, Stars Championship Series, and Route 66 Sprint Series events with arrive and drive opportunities available at those programs, as well as at the Whiteland Club races this season. A new 3,500 square foot shop is now open at the Whiteland Raceway Park in Whiteland, Indiana, and is the new home of MPG Motorsports. This new headquarters will provide local and regional racers with a full-service race shop that provides a wide range of parts and supplies to racers, including the full chassis line of the Kart Republic brand. For more, head to mpg-motorsports.com and follow us on social media. Let MPG Motorsports take your motorsports career in the direction of your choice. Welcome back to episode 75 of the EKN OutLap, previewing this coming weekend SCUSA SummerNationals at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Rob Howden alongside David Cole. Looking forward to our trackside coverage throughout the weekend. David, looking by the numbers, you're telling me, based on what you've been receiving, 221 pre-entries, 11 more than the event at Motorsports Country Club, a little down from the opener at Orlando, not surprising. But a couple of the categories actually with their biggest fields of the year, but 221 heading into the weekend.
Yeah, Pro Shifter leads that with, with 33 drivers set to compete this weekend. So a season high for that category, as well as Master Shifter. Yeah. So the shifter categories, again, we talked about it. They love going to Newcastle. It's the summer months, not a lot happening, have the ability to get away from home, from work, and etc. And so we're going to have a total of 45 shifters so far. Could maybe get up to 50. We'll see.
Yeah.
But great to see the numbers there in the 6-speed categories.
50. What we got? 58 drivers in total in the cadet categories. 27 in micro. Very similar to Ohio. A little bit down in mini Swift to 31. X30 Junior, David, probably one of the, again, this just hasn't really had a massive group this year in SCUSA competition. 21 in Orlando, 17 at Ohio, and then 18 here this weekend. But back to 43 for KA 100 Junior. Should be a really good battle for the junior drivers in KA.
Yeah, that's a category we've seen a lot of tight racing, a lot of drivers in the mix week in, week out. And I would expect to see the same with a large field. And again, that's the great thing about Newcastle. We can get away with these larger fields as the track will welcome that. It's not tight. It's long and it's wide. So it welcomes these large fields that we'll be seeing this weekend.
36 in KA 100 Senior, up again from Ohio. That event had 210 entries in total. Pro X30 down to 21, the lowest we've seen throughout the season. Not surprising. That happens in the pro categories. I will say this, David, and I know I haven't been on the first 2 outlaps for the Pro Tour this year. I would be remiss if I didn't say that the disappointment not seeing them in the KA Masters category on there. Of course, my class, but also one, that Masters single speed has always been a really core component of the SCUSA Pro Tour from the very get-go. So I hate not seeing a single speed Masters group on there.
Yeah, it's tough. We just didn't get the support this year in that category. Even USBKS has kind of fallen off on that in terms of numbers. A lot of drivers are focused on the regional programs. We know there's big numbers in Wisconsin. Route 66 is starting to grow some of their numbers. Stars Championship Series, they have big Masters numbers as well too. So it's just a lot of different scenarios and factors. We know, graduation's part of it during the month of May, and with drivers who are parents, they have kids graduating. Yeah. And again, it's an election year. Who knows if that has anything to do with it?
As long as they're racing, it's good. Whether it's Stars or Route 66 or whatever it is, at Dousman up for the Badger Kart Club. I love seeing Masters guys out racing. So I'd love to see them when I'm at the track, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and we're gonna see, the single speed Masters guys at SummerNationals. Yeah. So it'll be probably 40. Another sold out class again.
Exactly.
Because again, it's a Vegas race and it's a one off, and maybe they're more of a destination type class where they want to go. Ohio's not exactly a destination for some people, so. That could be part of it as well. And Newcastle's not exactly a destination either, but, we typically used to see high numbers there. So, we'll get back into the single speed master side of things when we get to SuperNats. So excited to see that come back.
Another quick break, and we'll come back with our first class by class preview. We'll look at Pro Shifter, Pro X30, and KA 100 Senior when we get back on this edition of the OutLap. Is IndyCar your dream? If it is, for 2024 and beyond, the path from karting to IndyCar has gotten even clearer. It's time to look into the new USF Juniors program and the Tatis JR23. As a first step of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires, the USF Junior Series will feature a 6-event, 13-race schedule to train racers for the move into the USF 2000 Championship presented by Continental Tires. 3 of the events in 2024 will run alongside IndyCar at Mid-Ohio, Road America, and Portland. The champion will win a scholarship worth over $263,000, and there's a total prize fund that will exceed $330,000. The series utilizes the state-of-the-art Tatis JR23 race car, which is a development version of the USF 22 used in USF 2000. It's the ideal entry point for career-minded karters moving into the car racing ladder. Safety is always front and center in the minds of the series promoters, and the new USF Juniors car also features the Halo, and races are supported by members of the AMR IndyCar safety team. If IndyCar is your goal, USF Juniors is the starting line. For more information, visit www.usfjuniors.com and follow USF Juniors on social media. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. We offer trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, the SCUSA SuperNationals, and other events throughout the season. TKG has Kart Republic, IAME, MG Novinco tires, and more products in stock for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. Cometic Gasket is a leading worldwide supplier of gaskets and engine sealing solutions for karting, automotive performance, power sports, original equipment, and the remanufactured engine industries. Cometic karting gaskets are available as OE replacement top-end kits or as individual gaskets and seals. Just like competitive karters, Cometic can operate on the fly and has the unique capability to customize any gasket to meet specific engine requirements and clearances. All of Cometic's fiber materials are asbestos-free and do not require any additional sealants. Viton oil ring cylinder head seals are used in each 2-cycle kit, and Cometic's 4-cycle engine kits feature only the most advanced multi-layer steel head gaskets. Cometic can tailor to engine builder-specific needs through bulk ordering and packaging flexibility. Cometic gaskets are must-haves for championship-winning teams across multiple disciplines of both professional and amateur motorsports. Cometic Gasket, sealing championships since 1989. Back here in the EKN recording studio for our preview podcast of the SCUSA SummerNationals. My name's Rob Howden, joined by David Cole. We'll be trackside all weekend long, rolling in on Thursday. David, let's start with Pro Shifter. 33 entries in total. And I said I have not been trackside, but it's not hard to look at social media and realize who the guy is up front right now in the shifter kart categories.
Yeah, Matheus Morgado, the Brazilian driver, has been phenomenal in his opening year in the Pro Shifter category, and he's currently leading the championship thanks to the 2 victories over the opening 2 rounds of the new SCUSA Pro Show. Morgado leading former SCUSA Pro Tour champion AJ Myers by 63.5 points. Again, that 0.5 point is because of the split of the pre-final into heat races. So we're going to see in the Pro Show categories at least points or decimal points
There you go.
in the total points for the drivers and the gaps. So Morgado, very impressive. He did some shifter kart racing last year in Europe. Not too much, a few outings here and there in the Euro Championship. I don't think he did the World Championship. Might have done KZ2 there if I recall correctly, but the combination's been on fire this year. Didn't look like, in Ohio, didn't look like he was going to be in contention. And then come Sunday, just something lit under them where they had everything put together correctly and just found the pace and were able to outduel AJ Myers for the victory. So a big victory for him. The driver that did give him the battle and nearly won in Orlando, had it not been for a last lap pass by Morgado, Danny Formal. He's going to be making, I think that's kind of the big story coming into the weekend. He's going to be making his return to the SCUSA Pro Tour. this time in Sodi Racing USA colors. So Formal making his Sodi debut this weekend.
Again, a number of little extra ones to add on. We talk about Morgado and Myers, that 63.5 point lead for Morgado. GFC drivers Jacob Gulick and Kyle Wick back quite a bit as well. That's third and fourth. Jay Irwin's had a good year as well. He sits P5 coming in. But you look at, obviously Formal. David was running with Rawlson Performance Group. He's moved over to Sodi. Marian Kremers, though, back in RPG colors this coming week and a former champion on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, he was there in Ohio, but working as driver coach under the Rawlson Performance Group tent. But now they're putting him back behind the wheel for the SummerNationals. So it'll be cool to see. I think he knows this Newcastle facility really well. So we'll see if he's able to be in contention. Was in contention in Orlando till contact with the outside barriers early on in the race took him out of the event and out of the main event. So that's going to be, he's going to be a wild card. Formal's going to be a wild card. Of course, you talked about the rest of the top five in the championships. They're essentially wild cards because Morgado's and Myers are going to be those drivers racing for points where everybody else, they're going to be out racing for podium or victory. And that includes the Maranello driver, Marcus Kajek, the SummerNationals 25 runner-up in Pro Shifter category. He's making a return back to the USA with Maranello USA. It's going to be interesting to see. He's been obviously a very potent shifter kart driver over the years. Was one of the quick drivers at SummerNationals last year as well too. So this is going to be interesting with the amount of the large field that we do have. The amount of talented drivers we do have in this field, a lot of the focus is going to be on Morgado and Myers, but these guys are going to be gun-ho and they're going to be going for it nonstop.
And indeed, there's some big dogs coming in. We'll throw a couple more names out. David, you and I had a chance to, again, as we have for many years, cover the entire challenge of the Americas, and the two drivers that kind of stepped up when the GFC guys weren't there were Michael Avancino and David Williams, the champion in Avancino, the vice champion in David Williams. I like seeing them come west here with Ron White Racing making a run out to Newcastle. We haven't seen him out there in a while, and I think that's big. I like to see it.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see them both CRG drivers making their Pro Tour debut on the season. So that's going to be interesting to see, where they fit in with a lot of these drivers who have been racing, who've already had the first two rounds under their belts. So kind of see where they fit in on the weekend.
David, staying with the West Coast drivers coming east, Billy Musgrave coming off a victory at the Stars Championship event. Hunter Pickett, of course, a perennial front runner. Remo Ruscitti from Catalyst Driver Development's coming out. So there's some big dogs on the West Coast that are coming over to Newcastle as well to help fill up this 33 kart grid.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Again, something about Newcastle with, welcoming in big shifter. I think we had a very similar total last year in this category. So it's great to see. But, Musgrave, he's got this factory karts machine figured out. And now he's got some reliable and fast power plant under him. Yep. That was kind of always the struggle over the last couple of years, making that transition from the IME 175 now over to the KZ power plant. It was just getting that side of things dialed in. And I think he's got that dialed in now over the last few events. Was a podium contender in Ohio until a spark plug boot popped off and ruined his chances of a podium finish there in Ohio with just a few laps remaining. Does well at Newcastle, so don't be surprised to see Musgrave among the top drivers on the time chart.
What do you think about Talon Yockel going privateer with his dad? I saw that on social. I kind of thought that was pretty cool. A guy that we've seen running up front in the Stars competition. So thoughts on that going into this weekend? It's obviously very interesting going up against the big teams.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. They've kind of always done their own thing. So I don't think this is anything different. I think more so, it's how well they can get the setup going. I think they have a good engine program. I think they're running the Sani competition program for the engine side of things. But I don't he's still on I think he's going to be on the Sodi cart. I'm not sure. He may be moving back to the Magic. That's something we're going to have to find out when we get there.
Yep, indeed.
He's not listed as with a chassis under registration. So
keep it secret.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think he has a Sodi cart. I think he ran that at the Stars race. But again, he came up with the Magic Cart guys, so maybe kind of veering back towards that. So again, something to kind of see what happens. I'm still waiting for that consistent weekend. He did very well last year, building up towards the end of the season. With the Magic Cart guys, was right on AJ Meyer's bumper every weekend, and now just hasn't been able to kind of recapture that magic. In terms of results and pace wise. So we'll see what he has in store for this weekend.
I like it. Anybody else you want to throw out there right now with Pro Shifter before we head to the Pro X30 class?
Well, we do have two female drivers. We got Cameron Reed and Annie Rule. So good to see the girl power thing going on in Pro Shifter. Cameron Reed with the RMS CRG, and then Annie Rule with the Magic Cart USA entry. So cool to see that. I got Remo Merskiddy. He was another driver, was kind of there but not there in Ohio. So we'll see if Newcastle's a better outing for him. And another Canadian, Josh Conker, on the factory cart with the JMF operation that is starting to form and be part of the factory cart network. So more on that. We're working on a story on that to kind of give more details about the expansion of factory carts into Canada and elsewhere. So he's been kind of quick here and there. He did struggle in Ohio with illness. So we'll see if he's over that and be able to be quick in Newcastle.
Lots of great names ready to roll here this coming weekend in that Pro Shifter category. Dave, let's jump over to Pro X30. Let me get back and say Pro Shifter brought to you by PSL Karting. They're the sponsor of that class. Pro X30 presented by Speed Concepts Racing. As we said, a season low 21 drivers, but still a good field ready to go. Again, one of the other categories in the Pro Show, only running the three main events. Ryan Norberg, David, of course, with the win coming out of the gate, but man, he's back in fifth place in points. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that DNF in Ohio certainly cost him in the championship chase, now trailing by 97.5 points going into the weekend. Yep. So Ramos there Ramos, Jones, and Massimino and Carr all leading without a win in the championship hunt, with a lot of points there up for grabs over a weekend. Again, it's 320 points is the maximum amount of points you can score. And Rob, I've already done the math here to give you a little insight. I actually, made sure I put the work in. Norberg, he's got basically, if he goes out and wins all sweeps the weekend, he only needs Ramos to finish outside the top five. So that's not asking for a lot.
Still open, baby.
So everything's really open. So really, it's more about positioning on the racetrack. It's about, Norberg needing to beat all four of these guys on the racetrack every single session. So you look at Brandon Carr. He's just got to go out and beat Massimino, Jones, and Ramos every session on the racetrack. Yeah. And then same for Massimino and Jones. They just have to beat one another and be able to be ahead of Ramos as well too all weekend long. And so a lot of things are going to, shuffle throughout the weekend. So I think qualifying is going to be a big one. Getting those 10 bonus points is going to help a lot of these drivers in terms of, whether they need one position or two position when it comes to the main event on Sunday. So a lot of different scenarios could happen in terms of these top five drivers. You got Alessandro De Tullio still mathematically there in the sixth position, but he needs a lot of help. You're looking at a 14th position for Diego Ramos and 9th for Hayden Jones. So that's a lot to ask for, but he's been fast all season long. And so don't be surprised if he's going to be one of those wild cards to mess up the championship for some of the others. Yeah.
Coming off a big weekend in Toronto as well, fourth place in the USF Pro 2000 event there in the first of the two races there. Now, listen, you mentioned Ramos, of course, 46-point lead over Jones, Massimino, Carr, and Norberg. I look over at the entry list you sent me, and I see 4 of the 5. Where's Massimino? Not
Yeah,
on the entry list.
I did get
Permit?
confirmation he will be racing, so just not on the entry list. So there'll be a walk-up entry.
Okay, there you go.
Again, Massimino's been doing a lot of racing. He does the Stars program. He's been doing Cup Karts major events. He's been doing USPKS. So a lot of racing's going on. I think he was working, with the Brandon Jarzakrak racing crew at the club race at Trackhouse this weekend. So again, just
flat out
not able to get the entry in on time, but we'll be racing this weekend.
So, David, there's been a lot of silly season stuff. You and I talked about it when we did the This Week in Karting podcast last week, that there's been a lot of guys moving. And one of the big ones is Harley Keeble will make his Superkarts USA debut this weekend for Inter MS. So Keeble, of course, kind of came over and his worth and the star factor with Sony Kart USA really went through the roof with lots of race wins, but moving over to Inter MS this weekend.
Yeah, made his debut with them at USPKS, was able to equate that into a podium finish. It was a bit of a battle all weekend long. They had engine issues all weekend, but were able to overcome that in the main event. And so this will be his SCUSA debut with the team, and see what, if he's able to continue that podium streak that he started last month.
Second big national weekend too, right, with the team. So kind of settled in and get a good feel for everyone, which is good. Also, we got another driver returning as well. Jonathan Ports back with the Rawlson Performance Group as well.
Yeah, kind of a name from the past. We haven't seen Ports at the national level in quite some time. The 20-year-old returning back with Rawlson Performance Group, where he's raced a number of times before, and see if he's kind of a different dynamic with the RPG crew. You got Jones and Norberg going for championship, but you also have GS Cicero still that's up there competing. Along with Brett Rivetta under the tent as well.
Hey, so names we've seen before, of course, the past do really well. Aiden Levy, a former champion in the KA100 senior class, he's back. I know he's busy with school or work, whatever the program is right now for Aiden. But let's throw that out a little bit. Let's see Aiden Levy back. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he did very well in Ohio, a top 10 performance in only his second X30 race of the season, raced at Trackhouse for USPKS weekend. So yeah, a top 10 is not out of the range. I think his goal is to be top 5. That would be kind of the cherry on top in his first real program in X30 competition. So I think that's kind of the goal for him. Also, don't sleep on Austin Garrison.
That's where I was going next.
The USPKS championship leader has been on fire. Didn't quite have the luck in Ohio contact in the start of the race, and then midway through the race, where he was racing most of the race with bent axle, actually. Eventually, he retired from that race. So don't be surprised. He's won at Newcastle here before. So again, he's don't be surprised to see him at the top of the charts.
I'm also going to throw in the two Holtz driver development pilots, right? Josh Holtz and Nicholas Terlecki. I don't think you can ever kind of count them out from being at the very least in the top 10, maybe even running top 5.
Well, if it rains, my money's going on Josh Holtz, because that guy loves the rain, does very well in it. And Terlecki's been doing really well. Stars Championship and podium at the USPKS, even though we avoided a wreck there with DiTullio coming to the line after his engine expired. So
that was rough.
But he was able to score a podium finish there. So again, Nick's doing a great job in 2024, kind of a season we expected to see him, but not this late in his career, but great to see it going forward.
Let's move on to KA100 Senior, presented by Sony Racing USA. 36 entries in total. A couple of wins for Bailiff puts him up front ahead of Phillips. Phillips a little further back. Stephen Miller with a win as well. James Overbeck, the other driver, the 37 points back. David, it's pretty close. There's 3 drivers within 52 points in the KA Senior class here.
Yeah, Phillips did not have a good weekend in Ohio, and essentially out of the championship chase, sitting in 8th, and actually not going to be in Newcastle according to the entry list that we do have. But yeah, Bailiff essentially has the advantage going in with 2 wins already on the season, leading James Overbeck, the Brandon Jarzakrak Mike Doty Racing driver, by 37 points. Stephen Miller, the Ohio race winner, back by 52 points. So those are the three top drivers going into the weekend with championship hopes. But again, Bailiff with the 2 victories, that's a great tiebreaker right there. If nobody else, if Miller's not able to pick up a second or Overbeck doesn't sweep the weekend, Bailiff has a tiebreaker in hand. So he's got to be thinking championship points each time he's out there, and at least knows Overbeck and Stephen Miller are the kind of the drivers to be ahead of as the weekend continues.
But like you said, Finnegan's got those 2 wins kind of in the pocket there, right? That's very nice. A couple of guys coming in this weekend, David. Let's talk about Jake Drew and Josh Campbell on the docket as well. Yeah,
Campbell, I think was in Ohio. I'm not sure. I was just double checking that, but I don't think he was. So yeah, Campbell not making a Pro Tour start yet this year. Neither did Jake Drew, who we have seen compete in USPKS competition. He was actually racing at Road America when we were in Dousman, and came down after the action on Saturday, hung out at the kart track on Sunday, but not able to race that race. So he's going to be back behind the wheel, but this time for the first time in SCUSA competition in 2024. So Drew with Formula Works and GFC Karting, while Campbell racing with Brandon Jarzakrak Racing, Mike Doty Racing operation. So he'll be maybe kind of a teammate and championship helper to James Overbeck on the weekend.
Ooh, interesting thought. Other guys I think to watch out for, of course, Henry Wheeler's top 5 in points, although not really in a realistic place to go for a championship. You think of guys we've seen before run strong, David, in this category: Mick Gabriel, Colin Lloyd, 2 guys that always seem to find their way to the front in a KA senior race.
Yep. Another one, Connor Ferris. He's sitting 4th in the championship, 143 points back, still looking for that elusive victory, has never won in SCUSA or USPKS competition. So still kind of waiting for that to happen in KA 100 senior. You said Colin Lloyd, the name right below him, Fernando Luque, who was one of the drivers in one of the wrecks at Ohio during the SCUSA Pro Tour Spring Nationals. So he'll be making his return back to karting action here after some time off, after his concussion and a little bit of a body bang up from his wreck there in Ohio.
Local driver Eli Warren will very likely be in there. Kane Martin from Nash Motorsports. He and, of course, Stephen Miller from Nash. Steven Eisert, the Sodi Racing USA driver for PK Sports. Just throwing some names out there, David, of guys that I would expect to see running top 10, right? Top 15 at least.
Yeah, Chase Biscaglia, which had Dokken Racing. That's another name. Looking at the entry list, Steven Eisert, Sodi Racing USA. I'm not sure if we said Mick Gabriel yet as well. And then Ben Hernandez, Mike Doty Racing driver, the driver from New York. We've seen him in Rotax competition. So we'll see if he's able to be a contender here in KA Senior.
Just 14 years of age, right?
Yeah. We saw him in junior competition.
Young, exactly that. Yeah. So there you go, folks. A lot of drivers in the middle of a fight here. The championship, as we know, with Finnegan Bailiff up front over Beck and Miller, should be a good battle throughout. And not a pro show, a semi-pro category. So lots of racing, lots of points up for grabs in KA 100 Senior. After this quick break, we'll come back. We'll look at X30 Junior, KA 100 Junior, and Master Shifter. Check out any major national karting event, and what's the common thread? Speed Concepts Racing. Up front, in every class, every weekend. The Speed family has been at the forefront of American karting for over 25 years. And Speed Concepts Racing is the sole dedication of Father Mike Speed and his multi-time championship-winning son Alex Speed. This program is all about passion for the sport and a dedication to winning. They know how to get it done. If you're a senior driver ready to put yourself amongst the best in the country, Speed Concepts Racing is the program for you. We can win the big races. You just need to be in the seat. The Speeds program has delivered time over time in the junior classes as well, helping to elevate a long list of young drivers from mid-pack to potential race winners. Speed Concepts Racing has the perfect equation of coaching, driver development, and technical knowledge to elevate your program. Arrive and drive opportunities are available for the remainder of the 2023 season, and we're locking in seats for 2024 as well. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, contact Speed Concepts Racing through email at speedconceptsracing gmail.com. The new face of competitive karting in the Pacific Northwest region is RaceLab. The full-service karting operation is located at the state-of-the-art Kartplex facility in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, providing everything you need to hit the track or put yourself in a successful driver development program. RaceLab is the official North American distributor for the TB Kart chassis brand, providing the full range of models from kid kart to shifter kart. Villeneuve Racing Karts is their flagship product, available only through RaceLab. The brand carries the name of Formula One champion and Indianapolis 500 winner Jacques Villeneuve, with each model produced by TB Kart. Kartplex, the home of RaceLab, is situated on the grounds of the Area 27 Motorsports Park. From full arrive and drive TB Kart rentals to leagues and competition karting, the facility provides a new home to developing the future stars of motorsports, all beginning at Kartplex with RaceLab. Follow RaceLab on social media on Facebook and Instagram, or load up their website at www.theracelab.ca to learn more about TB Kart and Villeneuve Racing Karts. RaceLab. Race with us, win with us. Winning takes top quality equipment, flawless preparation, experienced coaching, and passion. And at Team GFC, we live our passion. Developed by American karting champion Gary Carlton, the GFC chassis has become one of the newest brands to reach the top of the podium in North America. GFC has garnered victories and championships at all levels of the sport since its debut at the end of 2018. Shifter kart drivers are at the front of the field in the GT14 frame, with the SS31 a consistent contender in tag and 100cc competition. Team GFC has arrive and drive packages available for all categories, including the mini and micro classes utilizing the GFC RR5 cadet chassis. These young pilots have the opportunity to be part of the Team GFC Young Driver Development Program. Learn from one of the best American karters with 28 years racing at the highest levels of the sport, offering personalized training on and off the track. Follow GFC Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or click over to gfckarting.com to learn more about joining Team GFC. GFC, live your passion. Back at it here, OutLap number 75, as we continue to look deep into the Superkarts USA SummerNats this weekend at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Rob Howden alongside David Cole. Let's continue our class-by-class previews. X30 Junior up next, presented by Rawlison Performance Group. 18 entries in the category. A couple of victories on the season by Diego Ardiles, one for Jackson Wolney, one for Turner Brown. And David, this has been an interesting season because the championship has Wolney, Ardiles, Sarah Bradley, Turner Brown, Victor D'Alencar in there. But we've seen a bunch. We talk about silly season. It's happening here too. We got drivers starting with one team, going to another team, and vice versa. It's been kind of interesting in X30 Junior.
Yeah, we now have Speed Concepts Racing 1, 2, 3 in the championship, thanks to Ardiles moving over from Rawlison Performance Group to Speed Concepts Racing. But it's Wolney leading the championship thanks to a more consistent opening 4 rounds on the season. He's actually making the move over from OTK to Kart Republic. He did that in USBKS competition. So that's his kind of silly season, while Ardiles is moving from RPG to Speed Concepts Racing. Sarah Bradley actually went from OTK to Sodi Kart in Ohio, and she'll be back on the Sodi Kart under the Speed Concepts Racing tent as well. So a little bit silly season there.
Yeah.
And Turner Brown actually started the season with Speed Concepts Racing this year before moving over to Rawlison Performance Group, and he sits 4th in the championship, 179 points back. And redemption is on the mind because he's obviously been that driver to be in contention all season long. 2 DNFs at the Orlando weekend, able to pick up a victory there in Ohio on round 4. So if he's able to pull off a double win weekend, we could see him maybe slotting up closer into the championship chase, depending on how the other three drivers do on the weekend.
Yeah, it's not over for sure. One driver we haven't mentioned in depth was Victor D'Alancard, David. I know that you did a little digging to find out what's going on with him because he's not on the entry list that we see here.
No, he will not be under the Ralston Performance Group tent this weekend as he will be racing in Brazil. So some Brazil racing for him. So he's going to pass over the SCUSA finale to focus on the race in Brazil.
What else you got, David? Who else should we've been looking for? I'll throw two out here right now. Nix Eggleston, number one for Ruthless Karting. We've seen him in a number of different events and kind of be in the middle of the fight at Newcastle. And last but not least, Ty Fisher's picking up more speed and getting himself up in the middle of the fight a lot.
Yeah, they'll be among the contenders on the weekend as well, too. Eggleston, I think, had a wreck here last year, if I recall correctly. It had to be transported to the hospital, but came back with no injuries. Right. Yeah, so able to walk away from that. With D'Alancard leaving, it's kind of a battle for fifth between Chase Gossett-Lee and Alexander Vanchev, the Sodi Racing USA driver. So those drivers will be going kind of toe-to-toe for that fifth and final spot in the championship. Ty Fisher, as you said, may be able to make his way up towards that top five as well with a good weekend as well.
There you go. Drivers in the middle of the fight in X30 Junior. Let's go to KA100 Junior, presented by Nash Motorsports. And oftentimes, as we know, drivers running both of those categories. 43 drivers in the class. Big class here for KA100 Junior. Enzo Vidmontien with the win on the season. He's P3 coming into the championships. Diego Ardiles, a couple of victories have put him P1. And Turner Brown with a win as well. But David, 125-point lead for Ardiles coming into the finale weekend.
Yeah, again, making that move over from RPG to Speed Concepts Racing. So this will be his first SCUSA weekend under the SCR colors. So we'll have to see if he's able to continue that momentum that he began in Wisconsin when he made his debut with the team. Turner Brown, his old teammate there, sitting second in the championship coming off the round 4 victory, trailing by 125 points. So a lot to be made up by Brown. So he's going to need some bad luck by Ardiles in order to be closer to that. While round 1 winner Enzo Vidmontien sits back by 159 points. That's a lot of work to do on the weekend. Vidmontien just not a good weekend in Ohio for him, and that's kind of cost him valuable points in the championship. So again, nothing decided yet. I think that Saturday round of action is going to decide whether Ardiles will have Sunday to kind of cruise control or if he's going to have to put some work in as Brown and Vidmontien making up points on him.
Let's throw out there as well, David, the largest field of the event. So unlike X30 Junior, where let's say you did finish last, you're still 18 place points. If you finish last and you're in the middle of a championship and you DNF, you're down in 43rd, even outside the top 40. So I think that might play a role as well. And everybody can continue to keep digging, right?
Exactly. And again, a lot of points up for grabs. You got the 10 bonus points in qualifying, 10 bonus points for fast lap of the race. So yeah, again, a lot of points still up for grabs. And like you said, finishing last in our race, even though you have a drop still remaining, Ardiles is probably looking really good right now with 3 podium finishes over the first 4 rounds. I think he had a 5th place finish in the opening round. So dropping a 5th is a pretty good scenario if he's able to still land on the podium throughout the weekend. But a lot of racing still left up for grabs, a lot of points up for grabs, I should say, come Saturday and Sunday.
David, let's talk about some other names really briefly. Nix Eggleston, we mentioned him already. I think anytime you're going into a race at Newcastle, Isaac Malkiet's going to be a guy you're going to want to watch. The PSL karting driver, Nico Sarfati, coming over. He's having a really strong season as well for GFC and Formula Works. Those are just a couple of guys that stand out to me. What else you got here?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Malkiet does. He's shown bits of speed here and there, but hasn't been able to do that in SCUSA or USPKS competition. So still waiting for that first kind of breakthrough performance for him in KA Junior competition. I think you hit on a lot of the names. We got Fisher back again in the double duty side of things. I'm just kind of scrolling through right now.
I was thinking, we talk about Fisher there with Race Lab on the TB kart with Travis Pettit. Now, he's had a lot of success at Newcastle as well, right?
I just got to the P's, and that's where Travis Pettit is. And yeah, he and Fisher kind of been right there. Pettit's got a podium finish under his belt already, I think, on the season. So again, looking for more success for him. And again, we'll see if any of the other GFC drivers or Formula Works drivers can kind of pick up the pace and be in contention on the weekend as well.
Let's talk a little bit about Master Shifter now to cap off this segment presented by Fury Motorsports and GP USA. Let's have a look at the winners. Let's have a look at the championship chase. David, you were trackside. Scotty Barnes, Skitchy Barnes coming in with the point lead over Joe Rook.
Yeah, Barnes, though, however, trails Rook by 1 in the win total as Joe was able to take both victories in Ohio and put himself back into the championship chase, now only 101 points back of the Bermuda driver Scott Skitchy Barnes, who was our round 1 winner. Barnes kind of faltered here a little bit in round 2, getting basically driven over in that race, and but fought back to a third place finish in round 4. So again, the gap is not that much when you kind of factor in the drops, because the drop Joe Rook has is a DQ. So only 90 points he has to drop, where you look at Scott Barnes, he has to drop a 232 right now. So that's a big difference. That essentially puts Joe in the driver's seat. And Barnes is going to need to definitely keep Rook behind him on the weekend in order to complete this championship run.
Outside that one-on-one battle for the championship, but you got Michael Gouache in the 3rd spot, Luis Quinones, a former SCUSA Pro Tour champion, in 4th, and Larry Pegram rounding out the top 5. David, based on your notes, you're saying Larry Pegram's not here, but I will give a shout-out here to the driver P3 in points right now. Michael Gouache, 66 years young. Man, I like seeing that guy out on the racetrack. So cool.
Yeah, doing really well. Top 5 finisher on the season. Has the ability to be on the podium there, especially at Newcastle. I think it's not as physically demanding as say Motorsports Country Club or Orlando is. So we'll see what happens. He could be a podium contender on the weekend. However, we do have a number of drivers making their return back to SCUSA competition. One of them being a former winner at the SummerNationals, Justin Kelly. He'll be returning with Maranello USA. So you got Barnes, Rook, and Kelly leading that Red Army over there for Maranello. That's going to be a pretty solid squad going out for practice sessions.
Yeah, not bad, right? Nicholas Bedard back at it as well, or making his. Is he debuting? Did he run earlier this year, David, or is he back?
Yeah, it hasn't raced 2024 yet, so just coming back to SCUSA Pro Tour competition. But it is the debut for Tim Hollowell and Amarillo Kart Complex owner Kyle Yashinsky. Both these drivers are going to be making their class debut at the SummerNationals. Hollowell, a former, what else? What did he do? Did he do BMW? I think he did BMW.
Formula BMW?
I think he did Formula BMW, 15 years ago or however long that was?
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're right.
I raced him at Rock Island, one of my greatest Rock Island races ever. This was 2014, and he was in Yamaha Can, and I was in Yamaha Can, and I pushed him all around the racetrack. So I think now he's what is his age now? He's 35. So he has been able to do this. So I think this is kind of a program. He does a lot of club racing there at Newcastle. So, he's, I wouldn't put a podium out of his hand, because he knows this racetrack very well and has a lot of club racing here under his belt.
Formula BMW USA in 2007.
See?
13th in points.
14 years ago.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Other drivers in the field: Cameron Castles, Jeff Mills, Ken Schilling, the ageless one, and Mike Rivera. Let's not put he's 52 years of age, but dude, Mike, I don't know if anybody in the sport loves shifter kart racing as much as Mike does. So great to have him out there as well.
Yeah, him and Gouache went back and forth in Ohio, so I would expect that battle to kind of heat back up again in Newcastle. Don't be surprised to see John Crow, the Crow Show, enter Trackside
out of nowhere.
He was in Ohio. He talked about racing at Newcastle, but I don't see him on the entry list. So I'm not sure if Andretti Autosport is keeping him busy or
no. They got some time off right now. A couple of weeks off, I think. At least everybody's getting a full week off.
Yeah, quote unquote time off. Yeah,
he may just 100% need the time off.
Yeah, we'll see. So don't be surprised to see him as a walk up entry.
Okay, folks, final break. We're going to come back here and wrap up this edition of the OutLap. Mini Swift, Micro Swift, and of course, capping it all off after that. Stay with us. We'll wrap it all up after this. Established in 1999, PSL Karting has become a powerhouse within the karting industry for North America and around the world. PSL Karting is your complete source for all Burrell Art products as the North American importer, providing this top quality product through both their expansive dealer network or through the pslkarting.com online store. Whatever you need is available 24/7 online, including safety gear, parts, components, and full karting packages. All three brands, Burrell Art, Ricardo Kart, and Charles Leclerc Karts, are in stock and ready to hit the track. Grab your winning chassis for any category by visiting pslkarting.com to find your nearest dealer. PSL Karting is always looking for interest in new dealers and teams to help create new business relationships. Drivers looking to take their talents to the next level can join the Burrell Art North America race team, competing at all the major U.S. and Canadian events this season. When you're ready to win, go with PSL Karting. As the winningest Briggs 206 team in the United States in 2023, Precision Performance Karting wants to get you to victory lane in 2024. As the factory team for Coyote Motorsports, Precision Performance Karting won the biggest 4-cycle races of the year, including Senior Light, Medium, and Heavy at the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals 7 and winning an iconic Duffy at the IKF Sprint Grand Nationals in Texas. We also traveled north of the border to dominate the Cup Karts Canada finale in Goodwood, beating Canada's best Briggs racers. Our total focus is on winning, and we simply get the job done. Join our team, and we can help you win too. We have several levels of support available for 2024, from full-service arrive and drive programs to tent-only options. Our championship-winning PPK-prepared Coyote Zenith karts are ready to power you to great results. Join our team today. To become a PPK driver or to learn more, contact John Seglum at ppkartingfl@gmail.com or check us out online at ppkkartingfl.com. Left without a mechanic or a crew to help you at the kart track or in the garage? Kartlift Kart Stands is your solution. The company, founded in 2003, is now owned and operated by Ted Fashing out of Cokato, Minnesota, and Ted has decades of knowledge and experience with fabrication. Kartlift takes pride in both our quality and our personal customer service that we provide on the phone or at the track. Kartlift Kart Stands can be found at racetracks all over the country. If you race alone, or if you're a parent with a cadet or junior driver, let our one-man winch lift make your race days easier. Position the hooks under the rear bumper, push the button, and your cart is raised into position and you're ready to go. We also have Kartlift stackers for storing 2 carts at once, traditional kart stands, single and double upright storage stands, tire changers, and skid plate kits. Race teams and shops can contact us about our state-of-the-art chassis straightening table. If you have an idea for a custom stand, Kartlift can build it for you. All products from Kartlift are made in the USA. Kartlift kart stands are available at many kart shops around the country, or you can order online at kartlift.com. For more information, give us a call at 877-777-8020. That's 877-777-8020. Get a Kartlift today. Welcome back to the final segment of this edition of the EKN OutLap, episode 75, as we're wrapping up our class-by-class previews of this coming weekend's SCUSA SummerNationals, the finale of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour at Newcastle Motorsports Park. And David, let's have a look at the Mini Swift class. That category brought to you by a Trinity Karting Group. 31 entries in total. Let's have a look at the race winners and see why Ashton Moon has an 85-point lead over Royce Vega coming into the event.
Yeah, the opening two winners on the season in Orlando were Lorenzo Varela and Royce Vega, before Woon came to Ohio and dominated and winning both main events to establish an 85-point lead over Royce Vega in the championship heading into Newcastle. Troy Ferguson there sitting third, 139 points back with Josh Bergman, the recent announcement of him being on Team USA for the FIA Motorsports Games in Valencia. So that'll be cool to see him represent Team USA. The Trinity Karting Group driver sitting fourth, 143 points back, with fellow teammate Rocco Simoni sitting in fifth, 186 out of first.
Let's talk a little bit about the return of Colton Schniegenberg as well.
Yeah, the driver registered to race in Ohio, only made a couple laps in practice before he called it quits due to a rib injury. I think it was a rib, either rib or wrist. I can't quite remember. Either way, it was an injury that took him out of the weekend. So he's registered back to compete in Newcastle. So we'll see if he's able to be one of those drivers racing for a podium on the weekend.
Maxwell Matra, of course, a driver who came up through the micro ranks, just 10 years of age. Paxton Romero and Marco Samet will be in the fight. I'm going to say Braden Wagner for GFC and Formula Works also in there. This is good. Listen, Newcastle plays well. I will say this, though, David, the beauty about the cadet class at Newcastle, I don't care which direction you're going in, is the two long straightaways, right? Down to the I-70 hairpin, then back to scoreboard. The run of the month is going to change things up a little bit. I wonder whether or not it kind of shakes up the lead packs, that you're not going to have some of the guys that maybe don't have the pace to be up front leveraging the draft. This could potentially allow, because the Monza is a pretty tough corner, right? It takes a lot. I have a feeling it could allow some smaller groups to stretch away.
Yeah, it will take away that draft advantage you have in some of the categories, especially the slower ones like mini and micro. Yeah. And so that run back to scoreboard from I-70 going through the Monza is going to kind of shuffle up the field a little bit, or at least, possibly break it up to where you might be able to see a 2-driver breakaway or a 3-driver breakaway. I think we're starting to see that a little more and more, because these drivers are starting to understand, hey, the more drivers I have around me, the less percentage I have of taking over this position. So I think they're starting to understand the whole draft mentality, push away and work together to get away and build a gap over the rest of the field. So we'll see if that comes into play on the weekend, right? But with the mini drivers, you never quite know.
All right, let's wrap things up here with Micro Swift, presented by J&M Racing. 27 entries, all told. I'd say that there's a 2-driver battle up front, but Zane Burgess has won 3 races. Santiago Orioli won, David, 281 points back. You got to think that Orioli has to have a perfect weekend here.
He needs a perfect weekend. That's the only way they're going to be able to get Burgess. But even still, they're going to need some help getting him pushed back in the field throughout the weekend to get 2 kind of negative results on the weekend to help make up for the 3, the 2 deficit in the win column. So a lot needs to happen for Orioli to be able to battle Burgess for the championship. But aside from that, that's kind of been the story, Burgess being the micro driver to beat all season long.
Yeah, you've had we got Wayne Godshock in the 3rd spot with 297 points back, Sterling Mulata 439 back, and Luca Besserell 474 back. I don't know that we've seen that kind of a gap between 1st and 5th, or even 1st and everybody else. Zane Burgess has just been that good over the first 4 rounds of the series.
Yeah, it's he had a sweep in round 3, had a near sweep in round 1. And then a little bit of a hiccup there in Ohio in round 4 in the pre-final, but was able to come back and score the victory. I think Orioli would have been closer. However, a crazy incident in the last lap coming to the checkered flag in Ohio in round 4 dropped Orioli all the way down the order, and what could have been a runner-up or possibly a victory ended up with a bad result for him. So again, he does have a race to drop. That could be a good factor in terms of the championship, but again, still going to need some help with that. Interesting note, when you do look at the Micro Swift category, we've only had 6 different drivers on the podium in the 4 rounds of racing. So,
Wow.
you got Burgess and Orioli picking up a number of podium finishes, Win Godshock for 2 on his own. And then you got 3 other drivers who have been on the podium this year. So, we certainly have the cream of the crop in terms of the micro division with Burgess, Orioli, and Godshock.
Again, some great drivers in this category just getting started in their journey up through the ladder system that is the Superkarts USA Pro Tour and national level karting, working their way to try to potentially get into the pro show one day. David, that wraps things up for our class by class. I want to make sure everybody follows all our social media platforms this weekend. David and I back for the first time since April, trackside together. Looking forward to that as well. I've been messaging with Xander Clemens, ready to get back on the broadcast with the Kart Chaser crew. But to follow us, obviously, you can just follow all of our social media platforms. We'll be on Facebook, X, Instagram, hashtag EKN at SCUSA, hashtag SCUSA, hashtag SCUSA Pro Tour, and hashtag SummerNats 2024, what we'll be using in our coverage. But David, otherwise, you're going to stream the live radio again. We'll pull the Kart Chaser and stream it live if you can't watch it there. But otherwise, dude, we're going trackside back to Newcastle Motorsports Park.
Yeah, our first trip to our home away from home on the 2024 season. So excited to see the Dismore family, Mike Adams, and everybody else that are down there. And excited to wrap up our first championship of the 2024 season.
That's it. Yeah, Superkarts USA wrapping up here at the very end of July. Make sure you tune in to all the coverage on Kart Chaser. If you can't, as we said, we'll be streaming it at ekartingnews.com/live or ekartingnews.com/radio. If you've downloaded the EKN Radio Network app, you'll be able to listen to the broadcast there as well. Otherwise, David and I will be trackside beginning on Thursday. Watch for a lot of social media coverage through Thursday, Friday, and of course, throughout the weekend. Again, looking forward to being trackside for that event. It's going to be a good one, folks. The first championships decided of 2024, as David had mentioned. And ideally, that rain will hold off on Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. I do appreciate it. On behalf of David Cole, my name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.